Hello again. This last video will be to just take a look at the finished project and to briefly discuss something that needs to be common knowledge. Pipe makers are fully aware of what I'm about to describe, most of them anyway. Repairmen maybe not as much, and that's why I wanted to make a special mention of it here. And that is that the human brain is kind of treacherous in many ways when it comes to energy expenditure, and specifically when working on projects of any kind, really, that require a lot of concentration and specialized knowledge and tools, and that are tiring to do, and not necessarily in the physical sense, but just in the overall sense that if you're trying to achieve 100%, you have to give 100%, that type of thing. And something that happens is our own brains will lie to us. And here's what I mean. The other day, when I finished this, I thought I had, and set it aside, and went about my business and came back, then wanted to make this final installment of this particular project series, and realized that I'd fallen prey to this thing for the umpteenth time. And there was still a spot right here and another one here that I was not satisfied with in terms of getting perfect alignment between the stem and the shank that I had, because I was fatigued, eager to be done. I believed it when my brain said, "You are finished." And so I called it done, set it aside, moved on. The next day, or I guess it was 2 days later, I looked at it, astonished, basically, that I'd ever thought I was finished. Because this flaw, this imperfection, whatever you want to call it, jumped out at me so hard. And that's when I knew I'd fallen prey to this tendency that humans have. So, that's something to keep in mind if you are a perfection chaser. You're somebody that's not close is good enough type of guy, but if you're someone who enjoys attempting to achieve perfection, that you're going to have to fight part of the nature of how your brain is wired, in that give your work a soaking period of at least overnight in order to examine what you've done the next day and see if you're still happy with it. And only if you are, then, or maybe even wait, do it twice around, 2 delays, and then you're done. So that's it. That's the story. And here's the pipe. All this dust keeps flying out of the air and landing here. I guess it's the nature of living in a shop. So if I keep wiping at this, that's what's going on. Anyhow, this is about as difficult of a stem as you're going to commonly encounter, meaning from a production pipe as opposed to some exotic handmade. I've done a few that were more difficult, but only because of their size or something else. In terms of demanding, this is at the top of the list, or it's equal to these other ones I'm referring to, in that no fudging allowed. The geometry does not allow it. Everybody's born with the ability to detect a straight line and deviations from that, and also flat surfaces. So there's no, if you have a curved stem that's rounded in many ways, who's to say that one curve is necessarily better than another? You know, some guy would prefer it a little more slender, some guy a little chubbier, whatever. And arguments can be made, but there's absolutely no doubt that flat is flat, and there is no talking your way out of that when they're not. So I encourage everybody to dive in that's interested in this type of work. Buy a pipe similar to this one in design on eBay that might have a burn through, or what, you know, an inexpensive one, and then practice doing this type of work, because you will gain skill and experience at an exponential rate compared with doing them more ordinary stems, and they get further down the road faster for doing high-end collectibles. So that is it. As usual, I'm going to append some still photos of this particular pipe and then call it a wrap. So that is it. Until next time, always a pleasure. Take care.